something changed suddenly, and the balance at the front shifted. Silence replaced communication, while pressure spread through command structures. Urgent developments unfolded as coordination collapsed across enemy positions. Senior Russian commanders reportedly lost contact with multiple units. Elite networks within the system were reportedly neutralized rapidly. Surviving forces reportedly abandoned positions under extreme pressure. Fear spread as the frontline structure began to show visible signs of collapse. At the same time, dramatic claims filled the information space. It was said that NATO special units entered Ukrainian territory. Paris and London were portrayed as issuing irreversible decisions. The tone suggested unprecedented escalation at the highest political level. Everything was framed as happening within a single critical moment. Further claims described elite Western forces receiving deployment orders. Narration suggested NATO had already crossed defined borders. Attention turned to long-range Ukrainian strike capabilities. The Kremlin was portrayed as directly threatened by new weapons. Language emphasized inevitability, rather than confirmed operational detail. The idea of peace on Ukraine's conditions was repeatedly reinforced. Turkey was portrayed as applying pressure through diplomatic leverage. Washington was described as shaping surrender terms for Moscow. These claims were positioned as part of a broader strategic shift. Viewers were urged to follow unfolding developments closely. Focus then returned to battlefield actions. It was stated that pressure fell on the Russian military leadership. Strikes were described deep within Russian rear positions. Drone operations were framed as fast, coordinated, and effective. The language highlighted precision rather than indiscriminate force. Attention shifted to a specific operation near Kupansk. Special forces located and neutralized an enemy spotter. Radio intercepts were described as the key operational advantage. The individual allegedly guided strikes against Ukrainian positions. The operation emphasized intelligence-driven targeting. Audio fragments conveyed urgency and confusion. Repeated questions suggested panic during the encounter. Mentions of wounded personnel indicated rapid escalation. Location details were sought under pressure. The scene illustrated the chaos of close-range operations. Urban terrain was described as a significant challenge. Dense construction provided extensive cover and firing positions. Detection reportedly required time, patience, and careful movement. The operation was framed as methodical rather than rushed. Success was attributed to persistence and coordination. The narrative moved to the Kharkiv direction. Russian forces were said to face consistent resistance. Claims emerged about entry into parts of Tishchenkivka. These claims were paired with assertions of territorial expansion. Ukrainian sources rejected the accuracy of those statements. Heavy fighting was described along both riverbanks. Videos circulated showing activity near the eastern outskirts. Other footage showed Ukrainian forces in nearby settlements. The narration stated that these images did not reflect full control. Information warfare was implied alongside ground operations. The Russian command was portrayed as under direct pressure. Orders to capture Kupiansk were described as uncompromising. Failure reportedly led to exaggerated success claims. The tactic was labeled primitive and unsophisticated. Definitions of occupation were deliberately misused. Clarification was provided about contested territory. Areas without unified control cannot be considered occupied. This explanation challenged official Russian statements. Multiple premature victory reports were referenced. Each was said to collapse under reality. Clearing operations in central Kupiansk were described as ongoing. The remaining enemy groups were reportedly being neutralized. Surrounding areas were framed as under active Ukrainian control. The emphasis remained on containment and stabilization. No decisive breakthrough was claimed. Kupiansk's logistical importance was clearly outlined. Its rail station was described as a key supply hub. Control would ease ammunition and fuel transport significantly. Both armies recognized their operational value. This explained repeated attempts to seize the city. Despite pressure, Russian advances were described as limited. The area remained a zone of intense fighting. Western sections were said to be firmly controlled by Ukraine. Previously contested areas were described as stabilized. The narrative emphasized defensive success. Attention shifted to Zaporizhzhia operations. Intelligence units conducted a deep raid behind enemy lines. The action occurred near the Kakhovka reservoir area. 2 Russian soldiers were reportedly captured. They provided information on personnel and equipment locations. Short exchanges suggested danger during the operation. Nearby fire and movement were mentioned. The narration conveyed proximity and risk. Daily engagement numbers were then introduced. More than 200 clashes were said to occur daily. A significant portion was linked to Zaporizhzhia. Enemy forces were described as pressing towards the regional center. Fighting was said to be especially intense in certain directions. Stabilization was described as premature to discuss. Casualties were reported as high in the surrounding areas. Zaporizhzhia's suburbs were described as increasingly vulnerable. Attention could shift there after other contested cities. Russian units were reportedly transferred from other regions. Despite reinforcements, progress was described as limited. Pressure remained constant, but contained. International developments returned to focus. Western leaders were said to issue firm political signals. Paris and London were portrayed as presenting ultimatums. A declaration was framed as historic and decisive. European troops in Ukraine were described as officially agreed post-war. A declaration of intent was signed in Paris. It addressed future multinational deployment after hostilities end. The United States was included in coordination discussions. Careful planning and alignment were emphasized. Negotiation frameworks were said to be forming. The declaration followed a coalition meeting. Representatives from around 30 countries attended. Signatories included leaders from France, Britain, and Ukraine. Germany's absence was noted, but downplayed. Future German involvement was still anticipated. Germany's internal constraints were acknowledged. Political timing was cited as a limiting factor. Commitment to Ukraine's security was reaffirmed. Participation was framed as delayed, not denied. European unity was emphasized. The document focused on post-war deployment. European leadership of forces was clearly stated. Non-European partners could contribute support. United States involvement was framed as supportive, not commanding. Monitoring mechanisms were discussed separately. Final wording removed explicit United States commitments. Support was described as proposed rather than guaranteed. Ceasefire monitoring was linked to the United States leadership. Forces would ensure reassurance across multiple domains. Rebuilding Ukrainian defense capacity was included. A coordination center was planned in Paris. Military personnel worked on force composition details. Numbers, weapons, and operational roles were discussed. Each partner's contribution was outlined internally. Gratitude was expressed toward participating countries. Weapons support remained part of the framework. Assistance would continue if aggression resumed. Sanctions and intelligence sharing were referenced. Post-war planning extended beyond immediate security. Long-term deterrence was emphasized. Missile development then became the central theme. Domestic production was described as accelerating. Dependence on partners was gradually decreasing. Breakthroughs were reported during 2025. A domestic ballistic missile was highlighted. Successful testing was described in mid-May. The missile traveled nearly 300 kilometers. A Russian command post was reportedly destroyed. Combat use was emphasized as a milestone. Warhead weight exceeded 400 kilograms. Comparisons were made with foreign systems. Ukrainian capability was framed as significant. Separate funding accelerated production timelines. Speculation suggested earlier unconfirmed usage. Official acknowledgement came gradually. Development was described as a strategic breakthrough. Projects existed before the full-scale invasion. Earlier prototypes were consolidated after 2023. Organizational structures were reformed. Serial production was anticipated. Optimal range discussions referenced 700 kilometers. Payload guidance accuracy was emphasized. Even 300-kilometer systems were called effective. Logistics and command nodes fall within that range. Operational value was clearly articulated. Historical treaty constraints were explained. Range limitations once restricted development. Treaty withdrawals changed that environment. Export limits were differentiated from domestic use. Future expansion toward 500 kilometers was anticipated. Energy infrastructure issues inside Russia followed. Blackouts were described as increasingly frequent. Oil refineries and power plants were affected. Failures were framed as systemic, not isolated. Winter conditions worsened the consequences. Villages faced severe heating shortages. Urban areas received priority repairs. Public frustration was described as growing. Sanctions limited spare part availability. Military spending outweighed civilian needs. Diplomatic efforts returned to focus. Zelensky's tone shifted from optimism to caution. Peace talks were described as nearing completion. Two paths were outlined clearly. Diplomacy remained the preferred option. Security guarantees were being finalized. Coalitions formed a new security architecture. Turkey played a balancing mediation role. Formal treaties would follow political declarations. Peace was framed as closer but uncertain. The script concluded with a broader reflection. Military pressure, diplomacy, and economics now intersect. Energy stability and weapons production shape outcomes. Alliance decisions carry long-term consequences. The future remains open and contested. What path will ultimately prevail remains unresolved. Will negotiation overcome escalation and mistrust? Stay engaged for continued developments. Subscribe for future updates.